Greetings and welcome to In-Depth. I'm Dike Rostant. There are many descriptors and we're going to get into all of them. She herself describes herself as a vessel for the Lord, beautiful, vibrant, talented songwriter, composer, and singer. Many of us know her for Parang, whether or not you call her the undisputed queen or the first lady of Parang. We are going to be speaking with Alicia Jaggasar specifically, but not just limited to the Latin Fusion Music Festival. Hello, ma'am, or should I say hola? How are you doing?
Hola, todo está bien. Espero que todo está bien también.
Punto final. That's what we're done.
Yes. Hello, DK. It's such a
Very
pleasure.
happy to be having this conversation. And like I said, many people know you, Alicia Jaggasar, from Parang. But there is so much more. So speak to some of those signposts along the way, please. It could be Parang or beyond, but reaching to the Latin Fusion Music Festival.
Oh, well, yes. Well, my foundation is definitely has been built in Calypso. So being a Calypsonian from such a young age, singing with the likes of, Denise Plummer and singing Sandra and all of them in what competitions and different competitions at that time, National Women's Competition. The preparation for being in those shows, they were so intense in terms of articulation, diction, presentation. So you found that my general performance was rooted since back then when I started in Calypso. And when I got into secondary school, actually, San Juan, it was a San Juan Senior Comprehensive School. I actually maintained the Calypso, of course, because I had to be the monarch and thing, So I maintained that and I joined the Parang group that was in school at the time. And that transition in, my mom said, here's what, you can't do the both, the Calypso and the Parang. And I just stayed with the Parang from since then. So I took everything that I would have learned from being a Calypsonian and I started to put that into becoming a parandera and learning about the art form of Parang. Even though I was exposed to it even before, but I was exposed to it more like listening to it and enjoying Daisy Bose and Charlene Flores and all the different ones, Mr. Carter, seeing it in school and one day, look at this, in primary school. So it was so easy for me now. So when I started the Parang, people started to say, wow, you speak it so clearly. Oh, you speak it so, and that was just taking all the diction and the articulation from being a Calypsonian to ensure that whatever words that I was saying in Spanish, that it could be understood, not just by everybody else, but also by me, So I got into it and I never turned back from the Parang genre of music. But of course, it's the Calypso and the Soca in me. So started to play with it a little bit there and, mix it up and it's in my heart now, it's just in my heart. I want to do more, So I think that is where, all the fusion and things started to come in. Because even after when I left school, I was still writing calypsos for the younger ones. Once I started to teach the schools, I would write their calypsos and they would win. I remember writing, telling to Zia O'Connor, I said, you know who wrote your first calypso monarch song? Miss. I did in school. And he won the monarch that year. I remember he was competing against my son. And my son said, oh, mommy, so you're writing song for Tazia and you're writing song for me, So they were competing and Tazia won the his first Calypso Monarch in school with one of my original compositions. So I stayed with it. It's not like, I came out of it totally. I stayed with it and I continued to explore singing the calypsos that I grew up loving and putting it in Parang style and putting it in Latin styles and just exploring it because, as I said, it's a part of me. As Mikhail said, it's in my DNA. You know?
And it's funny because, and looking at the Calypso in terms of what tools and lessons of Calypso, I think they would lend because one, commanding a stage, connecting with your audience, and then two, a Calypso crowd could be a crowd that is a little more aggressive, or even let me not say a Calypso crowd, but a crowd in an atmosphere of Calypso. It feels as though is more permissible, things that you wouldn't dare do where you just stand up and politely clap.
Oh, yes.
You know, clap. Calypso, who
Yeah.
have sign, who flinging thing, who
Yeah.
shouting thing, who balling in the chorus. So being able to have that foundation, like you say, it makes
Yes,
it easier. Some people say that Calypso is a mother, and from there you can branch out because it teaches you
yeah,
so many things. But
it
that
does.
fusion is one thing to say, okay, well, it's a good idea, and I wish, and you know, someday I might like to go back and, but what is the thing that actually sparked and said, no, this is something that I need to do?
Well, along the way, you keep hearing about the language barrier and to the attractiveness of the Parang and Spanish, especially for the younger generation, and bridging that gap, that barrier. So I recognize that, you know, here's what I think I need to show that this could be, and then everybody's saying, you know, Parang is just for a season and it's not viable and it can't. I keep, you know, hearing that along the way, all the years, you know, how could a parandera or a parandero or how could paranderos be relevant from January to December? And everybody's saying, you know, parang. And because of the language barrier, there are a lot of our parang music that we lose because of that. That has nothing to do with Christmas. So I kept playing with it and playing with it and playing with it. And then I started to play with the songs, translating the Calypso songs and putting it in Spanish and English. I started to play with it. I said, all right, let me see how this could work. Because remember, I work a lot with children. And working with children, I always look for ways to show them, hey, you know, this could be nice in this way too, you know. You know, some of them Spanish and thing. And I remember telling my son when he was at CIC, he was doing Spanish. And I said, do not embarrass your mother. You know, and I'm telling him that, and I say, So 2 weeks before the exam, he's telling me, Mommy, I don't know Spanish. I said, no, 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 you're joking. No, Mommy. I said, no, you can't do that to your mother. And I remember going back to the songs the Parang songs, mind you, that I would have taught him and to show him how much Spanish that he has in him. And I saying, but you know, and I started saying, you know, this is like a tool to teach children Spanish. So it was easy for me to look at the music that they gravitate towards, like soca and certain calypsos, to start to change it and say, you know, this could be in Spanish too, and show them that here's what you can enjoy this in this way also, and show them how to translate it and fit a song nice. I started to delve in it and mix it up, and you know, so getting when I realized that I did the first couple of songs, transposing them into Spanish, I say, but this nice, you know, and not just transposing it, but putting a Latin rhythm to it. So you would like I do a version of Cheers to Life from Voice and a salsa style. And I have Bunny and Clyde, which I do in a bachata style. Now, to me, Bunny and Clyde is a love song. So it was easy for me to take that soca and put it into a bachata love song, you know. So that exploration for me has been, I really enjoy doing it. Really, really enjoy doing it.
That is something that, and you're saying that, and you're talking about the Bonnie and Clyde, and even I start to shift up my shoulder a little bit too, because, and one
Bachata.
of the things sometimes the can get, BPM can sometimes fight the beauty. And I say fight the beauty because there's a level of energy and a level of this kind of vibration that sometimes you need for a situation like a party, the road, this. But then sometimes when you slow it down, possibly do an acoustic version of it, you say, wait now, is all of this and is all this music and the thing? The thing's so sweet. So it's almost as though you get the opportunity to fall in love with yourself again, because this is things, this is who we are. This comes from us. But we let that breathe for a moment. We continue actually talking about the event on the 6th of July. When we return, we are speaking with Alicia Jaggasar. Stay with us. We return after this. Welcome back. We are speaking with Alicia Jaggasar, the First Lady of Parang. We are speaking, though, about Latin Fusion Music Festival. It is on the 6th of July. And what is the idea behind what's going to fuel this? Because it's one thing to say, okay, well, yes, we're doing the music, but in terms of like having a concert like this, even like showing the relevance of the things that you are doing outside of the Christmas season, Christmas in July. Talk to me about it a little bit.
Well, the Latin Fusion Festival, I started it about actually 10 years ago. We were going to Budapest, Los Alumnos de San Juan, and to the World Music Festival, WOMEX. And we were challenged to do original music because, you know, when you go to these international showcases, you can't really showcase other people's music. You have to showcase what we have here in Trinidad and Tobago. And in so doing, I had to do some original compositions. And that is where the fusion started. So I actually created some fusion type music to go along with our Parang music. And that's the next thing. Parang is also falls under the genre of Latin music. And so many times we remove it from under that umbrella. And when we remove it, we isolate it, you know? So just as you have a little bachata, merengue, salsa, you have Parang, you know? And here we were doing this music in Budapest at WOMEX. And the people were loving it, loving it, you know, and they were, you know, I remember when we came off stage, you know, people running after, yeah, I like, and would you believe they love, I like Cantando Gloria, 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 you know, and there we were. From that point on, the songs maintained a part of the repertoire in which we continued to do over the years. And I did some small shows in Cafe Blue. It used to be on Woodford Street, and now it's down on Ryson Road. My first show there. And for some years, I kept doing it, hoping that, you know, it started to build some traction, you know. Every year I would listen to the Calypso and Soca contributions and choose one or two and translate them and bring them to that concert on that day. And that 10 years, I have worked, and I have not been alone. Wayne has been a part of that journey with me. He's not here physically, but I know he's here spiritually. And all that we would have done together has culminated, has reached this point where this Latin Fusion Music Festival is what the 10 years has been about, all the work, you know. I saw it as, when it came, I said, oh, no, I'm not just going to do another concert again this year. I've been doing them one by one and one. It must have some bigger picture. And this was the bigger picture that I saw. That is Latin fusion music. And I was very particular. I said, it's not a Latin music festival, it's a Latin fusion music festival. And that will showcase our calypsos, our soca, and original music on one stage. It will also showcase some of our local paranderos, who are also Latin singers, but they are only known in that parang genre of music, that people are able to see us in a different light. So you will see all of that on that stage Saturday, come Saturday. And it's the first, it's the inaugural, and I intend that it will last for many years to come, showcasing us in a different light and showcasing our soca and calypso also in a different light, seeing that we are on the path to becoming bilingual and using these as a tool to teach the Spanish language to our young people.
I'm the child of teachers, and it's funny because sometimes it's almost as though it's stamped on you, you can't run from it. So the way that you're talking about hidden curriculum and all these kind of things is very funny to me. Can't run from the teacher at all. But I'm very grateful you would have spoken about the labor of love, a decade of working in the vineyard, or if we in Trinidad and Tobago, so we talk about working in the cocoa field, I don't know. And even like looking at the fact that you still feel Wayne's presence with you. And that sense of togetherness is very important, because sometimes that when you're feeling that you're doing it by yourself, it can feel as though it's too much. But in terms of that level of togetherness, who are some of the people who are helping to make this show extra special? Because I see you're promoting and you have different flyers and faces. So let me know a little bit about that, thanks.
Well, we have different bands being represented. And when Los Alumnos did our first CD, I did a duet with Mario Wallison. He's Mario Conga. He goes by Mario Conga. And Mario is one of the top Latin singers in Trinidad and Tobago. And here I am getting an opportunity to do that particular piece that we did on our first CD. It's a song called Como Abejal Panal. It's a song from Juan Luis Guerra. So we would be seeing Mario in his element. Mario has recently gone blind. So we are there to support him, and he's going to be there to perform for Trinidad and Tobago. We also have the band from the band Los Sonidos, and I'm calling all my parang bands. She is Sonia Chase, a very, very talented young lady. When I first heard her in her band, I'm like, wow, this child has a beautiful voice. So Sonia is going to be there. We have America Mutru. Of course, yeah, America is a calypsonian in her own right. She plays with Brass to the World. And she is now, I keep telling her, girl, I need to hear you in some Latin because she's a Latin dancer. And she agreed to come and be a part of the cast. So we have America Mutru. We have Chantel Skeet. Chantel is from the band La Mansion. Yeah. And she's also beautiful voice, beautiful. I can't help it. Once I hear somebody with a beautiful voice, I just have to say it and, you know, compliment them and bring them and give them that push, you know. And Chantel also has a wonderful, wonderful voice.
And Chantel's shaking shack while she's singing with that
yes.
one?
No.
I don't know.
I think she's being featured. She's featured this time. So she's not playing any marak. She's an element in vocals. Element. So I don't think she's playing marak. But then again, I'm not sure. And she might just surprise Oli and play a little marak. And then we have special guests, the sweet soca man Baran. You know, everybody tell me I always have Baran. Yeah, I always have Baran because I love Baran. And the people love Baran, you know. We have the sweet soca man and we have Effects the band. Effects the band with Emile Fortune and the crew. I mean, I have the whole long list there, but
no, but we had to tell them about the host too.
The host, well, well, we have Miss Roma Spencer as the host, and I can tell you all are in for a treat, because from what I have been hearing, the host is trying to do this bilingual. The host is preparing.
That bilingual is not adding an O to everything.
No. Not at all. The host is preparing to do a presentation bilingually. So you all have something to look forward to, you know, and you know, Roma Spencer is a comedian in her own right. So, you know, I know that you all are going to be in for a treat, you know. So, and we also have the element of dance. because once you're talking Latin music, fusion music, soca music, you're looking at dance. So we have a dance competition called Bailando, right? Where people could register. And on the night, we have a Jack and Jill type of competition also, where if you want to take part in the competition, you can sign up and you put your hat in a hat. You put the names in a hat, and the male will fill up female pull, you know, that kind of way, and make it fun. So we also have that aspect of the festival where we bring in together our dance schools in Trinidad and Tobago. So eventually, you know, it is going to be a big dance competition eventually. And we look forward to that. We look forward to a lot of dancing. So if you now start to do a little bachata and thing, Dike, you could come and practice a little bachata.
I'm not going to practice a thing right about now, but what I want to do in the last minute that we have is let me know about the Parang Institute, please.
Yes. So every year, since I started, we do a fundraiser. These concerts are fundraisers, and it's really to continue to work with the young people, because a lot of the schools I go to, a lot of them do not have money to pay for tutoring. So I would normally do it out of my pocket. So I do music. I'm a musician full time. So I have these concerts to help, you know, whether it's fund material for them, fund transportation, fund, you know, the work that I want to continue doing with them. So the Institute was launched, El Alma de Paranda. Once again, it's the hard work of 36 years of my life with Wayne and with Los Alumnos de San Juan. And here it is now in this form of the Parang Institute, the soul of Parang, El Alma de Paranda. So this concert is a fundraiser to help also with that institute, where the children and citizens generally can come and learn everything about the Parang art form and learn to speak, sing, play, everything inside there. Yeah.
And I wanted that to be the note that we end on, because people know, one, what is happening, and two, or possibly even more importantly, why, a big why to what you're doing. So we want to thank you for your why. We want to thank you for your efforts, and we want to thank you for your continued service, because this is service, huh? And on behalf of the entire TTT news team, we've been speaking with Alicia Jaggasar. Remember, it's on the 6th of July, so go out, look for it. One word, tell me where it is.
Estate 101.
Exactly, Estate 101.
Yes, 7 p.m. You can call for tickets, 785-0248, but be there with your dance shoes. Thank you so much for having me on your program, and I look forward to seeing the whole TTT crew inside Estate 101, Saturday, 7 p.m.
Thank you so much, Alicia Jaggasar, and thank you for tuning in. This has been In Depth with me, Dike Rostant.